Whew. Good morning, welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Thursday the 29th of June, and another week slips past so quickly. Let's just have a look firstly at the potential news events, potential impact events today. Before I do this, let's just refresh this bar here so we can go on. Oh, they were all speakers, no wonder it didn't refresh automatically. Okay. So we managed to see the speakers all do their thing. Thursday then, this morning we've got, I'll say this morning, it goes through the morning here. We've got the German inflation figures. Now this comes out on, as I say, region by region basically. So it's a slow burn. You get a load of different results coming through. About 5 of them, I want to say. Anyway, something like that. We've got Fed Chair speaking. Now that's already spoken. That's done. We've got the flash inflation for Spain. Not interested in that. Italian bank holiday. I think I might go to Italy today. Final GDP for the US. This has less impact because obviously we've seen the first two readings. Unemployment claims, if it's significantly out at the moment, it might create something, but it's not really doing it massively for a long time, and only occasionally do we get a blip near non-farms. And final GDP, yes, we've already gone through that. So pending home sales again, quite lightweight at this stage. So it's not a big day at all there. So we can get on and really focus on the trading itself and look at what's happening in these markets. And we, as you can see, let me just get rid of. I've got a trend line that's come through on here, which has been a bit of a nuisance. Let's take that off. That's it. What we got here then? Consolidation, effectively. It's too easy to think this has slipped off into a negative move here. It had its divergence, it retraced, it's pushed up again, consolidate. Yes, it came back down again. Potential still to push back up again, and to me it's quite messy, even from this higher time frame. And you look at it here, well, okay, it's a bit cleaner, the moves, and come down. That's the 4-hourly picture. Well, it's it's a difficult one to really work out clearly. I did have a trend line on here which I just took off a moment ago, but it is in this downward trend. It has hit its S1 first. Now if we see post 8 o'clock this come back down and break through that S1, that for me would be a sign of a continuation to the downside. Got to be a bit careful. It's been quite awful in the morning. So I'm sort of looking back yesterday. It was right the way through to 12 o'clock yesterday, and all it did was chop sideways up until then. And sometimes the best thing you can do is not trade when it's like just chopping through there, not particularly clear movement either way. Anyway, for today I'm sort of watching this movement here, lower highs, lower lows. Do appreciate, well, it's not very far to move. If it was to start rolling over from where it is now, if it picks up too much, to me it'll just be left aside again, not clean enough. So the pound dollar, is a really weak day for the pound yesterday. It really came off across its peers here, a really softish day. It's confirmed its lower high. 4-hourly picture, you see they're drawing this sort of channel on there yesterday, and it eventually broke through that. Oh, had broken through that. 10 o'clock it went. It's alright, I was looking at 6. It was the later bar, post 10 o'clock it went. There we go. Yeah, it was 10 o'clock when it started moving, but very bitty again in the morning, earlier morning there, leading up to that. So steered clear of it, but it did do its channel nicely in the end, coming down to its weekly pivot and beyond. but from where it's sitting at the moment, what can we do? Not a lot really. It's since uglyish move, it's in between R1 S1, maybe sorry, R1 S1 pivot point and S1. Maybe it's got a chance of a reaction off of its daily pivot there. Now pivot's got a high probability of being hit, but it's not got a lot of movement in this to get to the pivot, and it's not the best looking market either at the moment. Dollar yen, well, this is continuing to push upwards. One thing I'm aware of here is the 145 area. It's not far above us, and to be going long, was long on this, but it hit target, but to be going long when we're so close to that area where previously the Bank of Japan started to rattle their saber, or katana as it is. I'm just looking through here. Yeah, I mean it's already sort of going this morning, and my concern is here that they might intervene again, so, or even discuss that they'll intervene. So best thing is to stay out of it, I'm afraid. May be able to look at things across different markets, but I need to be a bit careful with it. Aussie dollar, well, the Aussie dollar finally broke through yesterday, properly broke down, of course, down towards its pivot there. Lower highs, lower lows, really any sort of retracement in this looks like a short opportunity at the moment. It has got a short-term trend line here that I've drawn on. We might just get some consolidation building through this. It just looks like it's come short of the daily pivot at this moment, but it could just chop along here, and then, well, we might get another breakdown from the lows. This is what I was looking for the other day, which it then rallied, and yesterday, where it had already early in the morning sold off, so you missed some of these opportunities. US dollar CAD, another one that's currently moving to the upside. It's this flag. I was looking for this flag yesterday to see if I could sell it, but it's just carried on. It's continued, and it's sort of broken the prior highs there now, so it becomes quite iffy. I still keeping my eyes on it. I still keep my eyes on it. If it can break back down below the pivot without touching the R1, I'd quite like it. I still like the big picture here. What's been going on? This is a reasonable correction to expect. It could just come to the underside of the yearly pivot, and then find resistance. So a couple of points to watch for on there, but nothing yet to trade. New Zealand dollar, it's in a lower time chop. Lower highs confirmed through there. You can see the original channel that was on there. It's sort of broken the lows there yesterday, and it's really not doing too much since, actually. It's just consolidating. So it broke down there yesterday, and it's consolidated ever since here. I just left this pattern on for a little while because it was in such a lovely pattern. And sometimes it's a good reminder of how good these rising channels are, basically. Where we're sitting here, though, well, really need to see a further breakdown here. If it does break down straight from where it is, we are not touching the daily pivot. We could see the S2 hit later, but it's slow at the moment, but got some potential. Euro yen. Euro yen's made a bit of a pig's ear of things. It's trying to pick itself back up, but it's still, don't forget, it's still in this major rally here, and any consolidation around this could just become a flag. So be wary of this market. It's you see the consolidation stages before. Please don't sell it up here at the moment yet. There's always the chance, but probably not yet. Anyway, Yeah, a break above this pivot. There are so many short sellers on this that there's always a short squeeze to come. That's how I look at it, and so I stay out of it until it really gives me on the higher time frames, 4 hourly time frame above lower highs, lower lows. Bit more of an idea for me at the moment. Yeah, it's just in a consolidation zone. Not something I particularly want to trade at this zone here, but it's consolidating nevertheless. Okay, euro pound, really no trades coming through on this. It's had a decent, although choppy, ride up here. Obviously knows I'm going abroad next week and wants to spoil my spending money. Anyway, I did say last week I should have been going and get some cash out. Consolidated sideward range was what we've seen before. Maybe we'll see a similar sort of push up there, but it's not for me. Pairs I normally like to trade then, Euro CAD. This has just been well, it got the bounce, sold off. I was looking for this to sell into its into my pivotal level that I've put on there. I think it is. Yeah, well, it's not pivotal level. It's just it was a top that we were looking to see if it broke out yesterday, I believe, and it did. But it just walked its way up there, come back down. Yeah, it's quite choppy at the moment, and I really don't like it. There's a lot of I don't likes at the moment, I'm afraid, and it's just the way the currencies go at times. I'm not interested in any of the pound, CAD, etc. I quickly flicked through that earlier. It's got a potential sell-off opportunity to come if it was to roll over from this pivot at some stage in the very near future. Could be a continuation from the penalty thing that's sitting there. Right, okay. Aussie yen was looking at this. This has become awful in the short-term time frame. Double bottom dish. Not particularly pretty. So there's a lot of stuff that's out there that's not looking great at the moment. Aussie New Zealand, I like this pairing for swing side of things, but it's you can see from the daily it's just overlapping bars day by day, side by side. Very choppy. It looked like it was going to give a breakdown there on yesterday, but only to run into its quarterly pivot and bounce. Anyway, yeah, stuck on these markets at the moment, so nothing particularly clear. The indices, let's actually have a look at gold first. I'd love to see something nice and clear this morning, but it's just not there for me yet. And I say yet, things change. Well, gold is just continuing to roll over. I'm still bearish on gold. Not a lot of point looking more at it in these short time frames. The ranges are becoming smaller candles all the way through there, but anyway, still pointing to the downside. Crude was in a funny old place yesterday, and it hasn't left it really, has it? It's still sitting. It seemed to have this bottom range and possibly some sort of top range, and it's stuck between those levels at the moment. Certainly not showing its hand too well. Just looking across there, it was as choppy as anything when I looked at it yesterday morning. It did break in the afternoon there, 3 o'clock-ish time. It started getting a decent move up, but relatively, only to come back into the prior level of resistance. Okay, so nothing there for me. Right, let's change, have a look at the indices. CSI 300 still bearish, sound like Groundhog Day now. Nikkei still bullish with a bit of a retrace. Now over time here we could see this sort of the previous low taken out, in which case it would be a bit more of a bullish sort of sign, a bearish sign, but at the moment it still remains bullish, as does the Nifty 50 here. Best avoided. The Aussie 200 is ugly, best avoided. S&Ps still dancing around a little bit here. We've had a couple of updates on this. It's obviously, but a bull flag situation there has got scope to push on upwards there, but bitty on the lower time frames here. This 4-hourly time frame, very bitty and horrible when you look at it in detail on the hourlies there. So writes a lot of these off in terms of, I don't want to be sitting there. I want to be there when it's trending proper, not when it's in its consolidation pattern. So Dow Jones again, well, yesterday it managed a down day. It's not particularly bright. Nasdaq again, it's in its bull flag here, but lots of overlap on a daily basis. When you come down to it, it looks a lot messier than it appears. It has put a little higher low in there, which could signify further upside, and it's actually quite nicely into its daily pivot at the moment. Maybe if it starts getting a bit of a kicker to the upside here, pushing above the 1500 area. 1500 area could be on for its R1 there, carrying on higher lows and its push up, but we'll see. Okay, DAX also following suit in its 2 days up, and it's now struggling a little bit again. But as I said, for a lot of these markets, they've had horrible choppy periods through certain sessions. You've got to be lucky to catch one of those early moves that seems to go before you get into the horrible chop zone. So there you go. Bit of grim old market out there today for me. Looking nothing particularly great, but something often develops early in these. Well, I say early during the morning on these. So I'll keep my eye out. Anyway, have a great day, and I'll catch you in the morning. Bye for now.